Hey everyone, welcome back to Paranormal Connections radio show with Christina George. We need to change this to like, the C&G show or something,
Something has to be the G&G show.
the G&G show. Yeah, George and George. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
think we got to do something to switch it up a little bit.
Yes. I think so. I
Well,
think
we've
so.
got some new banners coming that are
Uh-huh.
being created as we speak.
Uh-huh.
Um, gonna have some. I'm working on getting some merchandise, but it's not going to be branded merchandise.
Right.
Like I don't want paranormal connections all over hoodies and stuff like that. Like
Well, you know what? It actually looks really good. I'm looking at your like this is my family room back there, but I'm looking at your backdrop behind you. That would look really good on a black t-shirt, also a black beanie. I mean, it actually would be pretty it I love the word sexy, but that would be looking really badass. Cuz how you
that
did it
was
with the lettering
actually yeah, this was actually
looks good.
my first logo,
I love it.
and I used that same background for my paranormal group.
Yeah.
And we did. We had it on, the black t-shirts because back in the day, like everybody had to have a black t-shirt with their name on it. So it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. So, hey, Kathy,
What's up,
nice.
Kathy?
Thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're gonna. So but I'm thinking like, so I have a friend who's a graphic designer, and she is
Mhm.
just, and along with her skills and AI,
Uh-huh.
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
So I found like this really cool skull,
Uh-huh.
and they were able to like completely like morph it.
Right.
So yeah, made a completely different.
Well,
So
you've been everybody knows Christina George, you've been doing this for 15 plus years. You've earned your respect, you've earned everything. And I think that the logo that you first came out with actually looks really nice. So I like it. I like it.
I've George, I've had so many over the years. I used to make my own banners, right?
Right.
It
Right.
like took me forever to try to figure it out because I am not like super techie.
Right.
And I had found this one, online site, and I signed up for it and I learned how to use it. And I'm like, yeah. So I was like, oh, I was so happy. I was
Yeah.
making a new banner every few months. Oh yeah, I think I'll change the look again. And so I was just constantly changing it. And then I was the one that created my show banner every week. And then I would put, like my guest picture in it.
Yep.
And it was very creative
Yep.
back when I had nothing to do with my life.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's
Now it's
changed.
like with work and everything, I'm just like, I keep
Yeah.
saying, oh, that software doesn't exist anymore, but
Right.
I can have somebody make me a banner. But I'm
Absolutely.
just like a lot of work. I don't know. You and I were having, hey Pat, you and I were having, a talk the other day about, just getting really not only other people but even ourselves, just getting really fed up with this field. And
I agree. I don't interrupt you. Keep
you
flowing
know,
because
go ahead.
I've been on a rampage this whole week, and I don't know if it's a rampage, I should say. I've been absolutely disgusted in the field, and people always George, just do you, don't bring negativity. And I go, I'm nothing but positive. But when I see a field that's actually just falling apart, it's absolutely disgusting to me to see the field where it's at today. I mean, today I put a post up today because I want to talk slow, and then I'll let your
Hey,
viewers and stuff say something, or you can say something. But I'm actually really, I'm actually pissed off at locations that are charging too much money for everybody to go and visit. I mean, I said this today, our groceries are up, our gas is up, everything's up, and the paranormal field should be about hope, giving people hope, finding an out of real life, and go paranormal investigate
you're right.
and and have a good time and meet new people. But I found out, and I'll say this, and I'll shut up, and then if you want to talk, please just say, George, shut up. But is just because your location has been on TV and stuff like that, it doesn't give you the right to say, oh my God, we could charge this now. We could charge all this money. Let's charge $150, $75 just for an investigation per person. And I'm like, why? Why? And
Yep.
that's where people got mad at me today. I took down my post. Damn it! I took down my post. Got one person say,
You're weak.
I,
Yeah, I thought
I.
I was cheering you on. I
Oh
finally
no, I
figured
got.
I finally had you to the dark side,
Oh,
and
I'm
you
on the
were
dark side. I'm on your. No, I am on the dark side. And people be George, what's wrong with you? There's nothing wrong with me. But you know what? We've all been too quiet for too long, and you
no,
know
I
it.
agree.
You know that's all it is. So I can go back and forth all day long on stuff. But you know, all I can say is, people are claiming that their places has portals without any real validation or real evidence, or saying, oh well, there's a portal over there. No, that's the bathroom. Come on, people. I mean, I admit I'm venting a little bit because I've been in this field for not as long as Christina George, but don't call stuff portals when you really don't have any proper evidence and say, well, I'm going to charge you now. I'm going to charge everybody $150 a head or whatever it may be because now we have portals. It gets to a point where I'm getting frustrated with the whole field, I'm tired of being quiet. I'm tired of being real quiet about it. So.
Patrick says, and the way the paranormal has been about celebrities and influencers is crazy, and that is true. And now everybody thinks they are a paraceleb. It is like if they got a TikTok and they're doing
Yep.
the paranormal stuff. If
Yeah.
I mean, again, it is it is not like it was 15 years, 20 years ago, where
I
if you
bet.
got a spot on Ghost Adventures, did I
Yeah.
even say that?
You did say that.
Okay.
you said you said it.
Or if like Paranormal Witness or My Ghost Story or any of
Yep.
those things, right? My Haunted Life. You were
Yep.
invited, like they kind of search people out, or if people submitted, they would go through and they would choose certain people that had
Uh-huh.
really good stories that they felt were good on TV.
Yes.
So that's when people would say, "Oh, I've been on this show or I've been on that show," and it was like, they thought they were famous because
Yep.
they had been on a show, on an
Yep.
episode. We're not even say a
Yep.
show; they were on an episode, right?
Uh,
So now they're all of a sudden they're speaking, and they were like, "Oh, yes, on My Ghost Story," like, okay,
yeah.
you're just a regular person, but okay. But now
Yep.
all you have to do is have a cell phone
Yep.
and you can have your own show on Amazon.
Yep.
To get a show on Amazon is not hard. People are like, "Oh, I got a show on Amazon," like they got some big production team behind them. No, they paid a
Nope.
fee. They paid a damn fee.
Exactly.
They get the YouTube, they get all these, the TikTok, all of these different things, and again, they get a lot of followers. I'm going to give them that.
Yeah.
They're smart. Hit it while you can, but
Yeah.
this is not what our field is. This is not what it's
Mm-mm.
supposed to be about,
Nope.
right? Because they're not bringing any education that I can see. A lot of these, it's like the shock and awe, like they're
Yep.
so edited that it makes it look like it's something completely that it wasn't.
Yeah.
And editing software is amazing nowadays. So
Right.
what you can do.
Right.
And now you've got AI and you've got all of these different softwares. So people create videos all the time. And we're seeing it across the board. I'm seeing an influx of cryptids being caught on camera,
Yep.
UFOs landing, being on camera,
Yep.
uh, spirits, all this, and it's all generated. It's all
Yep.
it is not real, people, and it makes it so hard because I go and I watch people on social media when somebody puts something up, they're like, ooh, oh my god, that's amazing,
Right.
and I'm like, what the? In fact, let me bring something up right now because I found something right before the show. That's why I was like a little late.
Yeah.
Hold on just a second. Hey, Karen, so nice to have you. Thank you for showing up. Hey, Lenora, it's nice to meet you. Or nice to meet you. She's following me forever, but thank you for coming to the show. Cherie says, I don't mind paying the money if it goes towards restoration of the facility. Now, uh,
That's different.
yes, that is different.
Different.
But over the last 15 years, I've seen a lot of restoration and preservation societies that have done all of these fundraisers, and the money has never gotten to these locations. So
Yep.
I'm very leery of those too. But yes, if I know that it's going to a good cause, like the Gettysburg Bash, like
Yes.
they do for the Wounded Warriors and things like that. Great organization, great friends of mine. Absolutely love them. Uh, so yes, yeah, I would pay because it's going towards a cause. But just to go and see the same faces, the same kiss ass people that are all of the same different paracons, all talking about the same thing. That's
Yep.
another thing I could never understand is could you just be a little? I mean, if you got, I have stories that I could tell for 10 years. You're
Right.
going to tell me you got to tell the exact same story at every Paracon for the last 10 years? That's a problem for me. I'm not paying, I'm not giving you no money.
Right.
How about I'm not even going?
Right. I agree with you.
Hold on. Let's see. You guys are all, hey, D. D says influencers are high on their own popularity. Anything for clicks. It's ridiculous. Oh, yes, that's absolutely, absolutely true. Hey, Robert, nice to see you, my friend from Aussie. He says you're looking a bit better. Yes, I am, and I apologize. I've missed a couple of shows. Many of you follow me on social media probably know I was in the hospital again. So, but I'm back. We're good. All right. Patrick says all the drama and backstabbing is at the worst it's ever been, and I remember it being bad 10 years ago. Oh, for sure, Patrick. We George and I were just having this conversation before, and you've probably been following me and friends with me on social media for at least that long, so you know the drama that I went through and the blacklisting and the stories that went out that were not true. And you mind you, I was very solidified in the field. So when the rumors came out, I thought there is no way that anybody would believe that. To my surprise, oh yeah, delete, 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 delete.
Yeah.
So yes, it is a bandwagon. Either way, either way. So all right, let me bring up this. How do I do this? Present. We're gonna share.
I mean, nobody could be. I mean, I don't know why you're looking for something, but I mean, everybody that's out there, you can't be extremely happy about the field right now. I mean, it does have some hiccups, and I think it's before it gets really, really bad, really, really bad. Somehow we have to band together and just like, okay, guys, let's start fixing things that are broken because there's a lot of things broken right now. And
Yeah, absolutely.
it's just broken. It's too bad.
All right, let's see if I can share this. Now, if I share this, I'm gonna talk, and George, tell me if you can still hear me, because if you can still hear me, they can still hear me. All
Yes,
right,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
can you still hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear. Copy that.
Perfect. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so here is something I came across. So it says my friend's back after going to the basement of the St. Augustine Lighthouse. Something scratched her. This was years ago now, and disappeared the next day like nothing happened. Now, let me just say, I know a little bit, just a little bit, but I know a little bit about the St. Augustine Lighthouse. And the actual one was actually demolished, and the current one was then put up. There has been no deaths there, no nothing. But, and if you look at that picture, now I don't even think you have to be a novice. What would you say this about this picture, George?
Well, it's hard for me to see it, but it just looks a little bit a little overboard, if you don't mind me saying.
No, I don't mind you at all because that is exactly what we got. And if you look
There you go.
over, it looks like she might have a rash or some welts, but that looks like somebody's been scratching their back a lot,
A lot,
a
a
lot.
lot. Yeah.
Because many times we know, well, and a lot of people were actually calling her out on this. Hold on.
Right.
Uh, but again, you're going to a place that created their own history
Yeah.
into a new lighthouse.
Right.
And now people go in there and they're like, oh, if I scratch myself. Now, obviously, they're a novice and they don't really know what the hell they're doing because if you really are going to try to fake it, you probably just want three right across your back. Like that's the paranormal staple, demonic attack. So looking like you had a rash and you were just like or some, mosquito bites and just going at it, scratching, and then posting this.
Right.
And I saw it on a bunch of different pages, and some
Right.
people were like, "Oh my God, that's so scary." Other people were like, "Oh, that's crazy. I need to go there."
Right.
Other people were like, that
Yeah.
doesn't even look right."
Right.
Um, Patrick Patrick says, "Looks like some demons were playing tic tac toe, and one got mad at him when he lost." And Robert said, "It looks like a back scratcher." Yeah, yeah, that could be too. But because it's like, thin, I think that she was scratching her back, a lot. And but again, it's like that's all people need, because sometimes they just want to hear what they want to hear, and they want to believe what they want to believe. So let's see. Laura says, "I've had, when I was a child, in my child home, scratches on my back, but I haven't talked until now. People who experience paranormal stuff don't put it out in public." Um, Laura, you're new to this show, and I appreciate you coming. I completely get it. I have had abilities and paranormal activity in my life since I was 4 years old. So I completely get it. It was definitely a time that you could not talk about it. We are in a much different time. The paranormal is not as taboo. There are thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, across the world, paranormal groups that you can go, where you can support groups, where you can go and have a safe place to talk. The problem now is, like, now you even get the same people in those groups attacking people. So you never know what you're going to get. Uh, yes, I've had scratches. I've been levitated. I've had some crazy stuff go on over the years. So I get it. Um, I would actually love to invite you to come on and be a guest on the show sometime and talk about your experiences. Like, that's what we do here. So it's a safe place to talk about it, and sometimes talking about it and realizing you're not alone helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says, that's true. I am more open about it now. Yeah. I mean, again, it's just kind of like you kind of have to find your tribe, you have
Right.
to find that group,
Do you,
because I
is
do.
she is she not? And I don't, it is directed towards her. Was she not being open about it because it was like family members that weren't into the paranormal? They wouldn't understand it. They would be, I mean, what you just said, Christina, you nailed it. This is a room where everybody can actually tell us your story. It's not, no one's going to say, oh, you're a fibber or this and that. It's the fact that you're able to open up, because there's people out there that keep it so trapped inside that it actually can take an effect on your life in a weird
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
way. Things trapped up, but please,
Oh, but let's just get it. This is a safe place. But if you come on this show with some fakery or some BS, I have been known
to
to
call it
call you
out.
out right on the show.
Yep, yep,
So
yep.
just saying. Um. So yeah. So that was one. Now, I also recently was talking to the owner of the Enfield Demon House, and um, I really don't know where I am about that, because had I've heard things on both sides, and you know me, I like to have facts, and so my thing is, okay, at the show, I'll be happy to come out, do an investigation myself, use my abilities, see what I pick up on. Well, he definitely wanted me to go to his house to give him some promotion and things like that, but he also wanted to charge me. It's like absolutely unreal. And first of all, I'm not going to pay to go validate your location because nobody believes your story. The other thing that kind of disturbed me a little bit was he was telling me about, that they were never in the paranormal, this. And look, I know plenty of people who are in the paranormal now that started out not in the paranormal. They bought a house and started dealing with kind of all kinds of craziness, and then ended up in the paranormal field, investigating and helping other people. So I get that, but this wasn't like that. And he was telling me like how his he was letting his daughter and her teen hit their teenage daughter and her girlfriends because the daughter says, oh, I have a haunted house that we let people investigate. So he was going to let her have a sleepover there and and use the Ouija board.
God damn. Jesus Christ.
And again, the stupidity in this field sometimes is unbelievable. It's just unbelievable. And I said, you know what? Like, you got to be careful, especially when you're dealing with teenagers, especially teenage girls, because
Yep.
their hormones are all over the place. You call in something and you get an attachment. Anybody who's ever had an attachment in their life, me, um, it's not something that you want, especially as a teen. So, I want to hear what you guys have to say about some of these places. Again, it's very hard for me because unless go into the location itself and I can say yes, I believe there's something going on, or I'm not getting anything. But again, even if I don't get anything, doesn't mean that there's nothing going on. I just wish people would just go out and just investigate because really there's paranormal activity everywhere. Everywhere. Like, why are people paying hundreds? I mean, we're talking hundreds upon hundreds of dollars to go to these paracons to investigate the same places year after year after year after year. Like, what new do you think you're going to get? And really, it's nothing about education. At the beginning, I used to be like, oh, I want to like all the new people. I want to hear like the new techniques and, the theories. And like, I'm all about gaining like the knowledge, right? But no, it really wasn't that. And it was more of just a big paranormal get together party. I saw a lot of cheating going on there. I saw a lot of fights going on there. I saw a lot of interesting things go on there. So it kind of lost its shine for me, after a while. And I can remember when we first started doing the show together, and you were, like, oh yeah, I just want to like do the events and be invited and everything. Mm-hmm. Hey, what you think now?
I don't want
How many you got booked for this year, George?
zero. I have one coming up, and that's in September. But I won't do them anymore. I don't want to. I don't want to go anymore because it's just it like you said. It just turns into a big party, and it's not about investigating. It's not about you meet new people with the same interest, but it just turns into be a cluster, and you end up getting back on your plane after spending a couple $1,000s of your own money, and you think, oh my God, I don't want to go
Yeah.
back there again. So, it's that's how I look at it. And if I may say this to the people that come in and for the very first time to these paracons and stuff, and they get to do an investigation afterwards, and they get charged for that. It's like it's not really an investigation when you have 50 or 60 people in
You,
one room, and
you,
there's
yeah.
so much contamination.
Would you say that anything that any evidence you might capture
It's not real.
would
It's
be
most likely
valid?
not
It'd be
real.
tailored.
No, it would be contaminated with somebody in the next room. You think you hear a voice, but yeah, you're hearing voices, people asking questions or whatever it may be on an EVP recorder. I mean, I don't knock Paracons fully, but I just think that it's just it to me. I've done it. I've been to enough where I'm like, I'm just not interested in going anymore. It's just the same stuff over and over again, and it's the same speakers over and over again with the same stories, and they charge too much money and whatever. It is whatever to
And
me now.
yeah, and the thing is like I would much rather just get a small group of people, that
Yes.
I want to investigate, and then just go pay for however many hours that we're going to go and
Yeah.
investigate and do it that way than to
Yeah.
pay because look, I just saw a Paracon that was going on. It's like $300 for the
Hmm.
Paracon. Then, and it's for the whole weekend. But then you also have to figure you got to get your hotel room for the whole
Yep.
weekend. You got
Yeah.
to get your flight or you got to drive, and all of the, gas is definitely not cheap. And
No.
then you get there, and then you got to buy your food and your drinks just
Yep.
to hang out with the same people that you
Yeah.
hung out with before. Like, look, let's just go. We'll just make a meetup. We could just all
Yep.
go. It won't cost us that much money.
We can all meet up. We can all meet at Chuck E. Cheese, and I'll supply the tokens.
There you go. There
You
you
know.
go. Ghost elementals and demons do not hang out at locations 24/7 just to give paying customers their jolly. Yeah, that's very true. But I will say, being able to having the gift of being able to see spirits. Like I walk around and like I go to the post office and I'll see I'll see somebody. I go to the grocery store. I might run into somebody. I've been at the pharmacy. I've been at the farmers market and had somebody come up to me. I had a little girl come up to me when I was in the hospital, just had surgery, and I had walked out with a friend, and she came up to me. So I mean, spirits can be anywhere, but yes, they're not like circus acts. So they just jump on and just start to show
Do
everything.
you,
That's why I
do,
laugh when people also go and they don't get a whole lot of activity, and then all of a
right.
sudden they're like, oh, there's nothing going on there. Yeah, that's true. That for you
Let
for
me
that
let
time.
me ask you. Can I ask you a question? Because this, do you think when what you just said, you see a little girl and you've been dealing with a lot of stuff going on in your own personal life. You don't mind me saying? Do you think it's just like a little bit of a revolving door, and they come in when? See, this is where I get confused on the paranormal because they're not to me they're not everywhere. It's like a revolving door, and at that specific time when that door opens, a spirit can come through. Am I so green still that I that's what I believe? I mean, no matter how long, 10 years, and I'm still learning. You know.
So for me, walking around like there, especially here in Old Sacramento,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
kind of
God.
like the Virginia City.
Yes.
You got a lot of like old history. You do, I can walk into just about any of the stores around here. There's
Yeah.
something there.
Yeah.
Um, Now with me having my abilities, I attract certain spirits, and those spirits usually have crossed over, and they just have a message, right?
Gotcha.
So when they like choose me to give a message, the ones that are in locations are usually like earthbound, so they're still kind of doing their thing around here. So um, Laura says, I sense ghosts but don't see them. But yes, they are not always there. Yeah, no, I mean, they're not going to be somewhere 24 hours a day. I'm just saying, me having the ability to visually see them, walking around, like, you don't have to go look for a creepy old Victorian house to
Right.
investigate, or an insane asylum, or a, penitentiary, or, some kind of a prison. Uh, yeah, obviously, depending on what they were, they're gonna have some stuff there. I'm just
Right.
talking about there. I've gone to restaurants. I've been sitting in restaurants and seeing people walk by on the street as if they're just got somewhere to go, and they're just kind of living like a parallel reality with us. And
Right.
so again, that's what I meant when they could
Yeah.
be anywhere. So you don't have to go and spend all kinds of money. There's actually out here in the Rockland area by the city college, there is an Indian burial mounds,
Oh wow.
and they built a whole like subdivision around it. And so that has like walking trails and things like that. But there's nothing posted that these are the mounds. I only found out because I had actually went to the what is that called, the city that has like your city office that has like all of the landmarks and all of the history, like I guess the historical society for the
Perfect.
town. But it
Perfect.
had
Yeah.
like the maps of before all that stuff was put there, and it was clearly on the maps. It was a Maidu Indian mounds.
Wow.
We went out there, we got some amazing evidence. And the funny thing is you've got all these nice houses built around this little, they've made it almost into like a little walking trail park, and nobody has a clue what it is.
Wow. In
So
Rockland
yeah.
though, huh? Wow.
Yeah. Hey Eric, nice to see you. Yeah, Eric was part of my team for a long time, and yeah, we I didn't want to go to all of the regular places everybody went to, because I just feel like the locations are just so overly investigated. It doesn't excite me, if
Hmm.
that makes sense.
Totally makes sense.
I've just kind of lost that passion, because it's just like, okay, I could go, to this place, I could go, and yes, they have great activity, but it's just a lot of the same thing. It's like I'm not getting anything really new, and like that's what keeps me going in the field. Because to be absolutely honest, the only reason I got into the field was to help other people. But
Right.
the private clients, that has changed over the last 15 years as well. So I had to kind of get away from that, um, and then just started doing locations. And it's definitely, there's plenty of places that you wouldn't even expect. The little hole in the walls. I've had, like, up in Nevada City, I had a bar owner call me. And Nevada City is much like Virginia City. They're all in that, like, that kind of era. And yeah, invited me to come and investigate her place because she had so much stuff going on, and the employees were afraid to work there. In Woodland, there's the Opera House. Like, there's just places all over the place. So yeah, and a lot of these lesser known, not so popular places have great activity, and you can get in for a little bit of nothing. Like,
No,
they're like, oh, I just like the fact that somebody's coming and investigating.
right. Well, it's funny you say that. I've been investigating at work the last couple of months, and I haven't even told you this, but um, so we had a big water leak. I told you about the water leak we had
Right.
underground. It was a big pipe, and the city had to come out and they had to dig. I don't know, 6, 7, 8 feet down through the cement road on this main road, and they found out when they went down, they found a skull. Now, hear me out. They found a skull way down. It was a skull. So the guy, one of the contractors, says, George, please don't say nothing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm
Yeah,
all,
because they'll
well,
shut the whole project down.
the whole project this is the big
Yeah.
water leak that I showed you that was going down.
Yes.
And long story short, I was talking to another guy, one of the contractors for the city. He goes, well, it's because this is like an Indian burial ground where basically a lot of Native Americans and stuff were there. And I'm like, holy crap! So for the last couple of weeks, I've been at work in some of the apartments where they're empty. I've been investigating, and I think it's my mind playing tricks on me. But I'm thinking, oh my God, did they stir something up? Because I've had people come, like in one of the buildings. There's 6 buildings, and they're one George. Hey, my honest to God, my light went off and on last night, and my fan. When I woke up the next morning, my fan was on inside my kitchen, and I'm thinking, what? I'm thinking in my head now. These are very like G-rated stuff. But
Right.
ever since then, in the last couple of weeks, we had that situation at work. Something stirred up, and I'm like,
It would make
wow,
sense. It would
it
make
does
sense.
make sense. It does. So I've
Hmm.
been, long story short, I've been kind of investigating at work, but nothing crazy because I got to work. But long story short, I mean, it's like you're just saying, you don't need to go pay these big prices. You can investigate, maybe not your own home if you don't want to, but you can
Hi,
go anywhere.
Stephanie.
Go to a park and investigate. Oh my gosh, it's Stephanie. Good to see you, Stephanie. But you can investigate. You can investigate anywhere. Not
Well,
just
I would,
places.
once they get all the pipe replaced and fixed and everything, I would go out there and leave some tobacco, some fresh tobacco as an offering, just to
Good
kind of,
idea.
appease
Yep.
the
Good idea.
spirits.
Good
Because
idea.
yeah, I mean, just imagine if it was your family,
Yeah.
and the thing is so many Indian burial ground, yeah, we just build buildings on top of it, but
Yep.
I can't say much because our cemeteries have been found to, after a certain amount of time, there knows no more relatives, they'll just stack them, on top of somebody else.
Yeah.
Cemetery in Napa where I grew up was was caught doing that, and yeah, nothing like going to see Grandma Mary and George Lopez or something is
Right.
now in her spot, and then when
Yeah.
they dug them all up, there was like four stacked on top of people. So because they were
Wow.
running out of space. Go figure.
Wow. Go figure.
All
Wow.
right, let's also. So I just wanted to say another thing when we were talking about the influence that people have on the internet. I was watching, like, I'm a TikTok out, TikTok holic now with TikTok. Like I can't get away with it, get away from it. But it is so irritating because I watch all of these damn so-called psychics, and especially the week before the solar eclipse. If I heard one more time we were going to turn into zombies, we were going to go blind.
Wait, no time out. I said zombies. I said whoever's going to be watching anybody watching this eclipse tonight or whatever it was the other morning, in 24 hours you're going to turn into zombies. I was
Oh,
like,
they must have caught on it and ran on TikTok because I must have saw like 30 people saying it. The other thing was when it happens, if you see somebody just standing and not moving, don't look at
yeah.
their face because their face is going to demon morph. What was
Oh
the
my
other one?
god.
The planet Nibiru was
Uh,
going to be shown, and actually, it
right.
wasn't going to be the moon; it was going to be Nibiru, and then we were going to see that. And that Nibiru is actually a big old mothership that looks like a planet. So it's going to come, and then they were going to invade us and get us.
Well, I'll go because I want to. I want if any, I'll be the one to say I'll take one for the team because if any aliens come down, I want to go with them. I want to go.
Look, you say that.
No, I'm serious.
You say that just like you thought there was para-unity in this field, and
Oh
then you
well,
found
that's
out what it was. You'd want to get abducted, and then they would want to go and like stick a probe up your rear
no,
end.
no. They can't. There's a no. I have a no, no. I don't want them to be touchy, touchy, but my God, it would be it'd be scarier than shit. But I would go if they promised me to live forever. I'd go.
Stephanie says the conspiracy theories around the eclipse were so crazy. And you know what? It was like, oh, they're calling out the National Guard,
Yeah.
because of all the stuff's going to happen. And the amount of panic, the amount of true panic. I was seeing TikToks the night before, like goodbye videos.
Oh, shut up! I didn't see any of those.
If I
Really?
have if I don't see you tomorrow, we know my predictions were correct.
Whoa, what time out? Speaking about predictions, I'm glad you said that word.
Oh,
Just a few days ago, your predictions are actually coming to light, and they may not happen overnight, but I don't know if you heard it. Correct me in my time frame here. New York had an earthquake.
well, remember first was Oregon. There was a
Right.
5.8. That
Yeah.
was the very first one.
Right. Okay. And but you've
Then we
nailed a
had,
few things. You New York and whatever. I'm telling.
I
Correct me,
said New
please.
York. I also said the Washington, well, all the way up the coastline, all the way to Baja.
You said
Um,
stuff. Yep.
we got,
And this is stuff that there was. You can go back in some of your shows. You said it, and
yeah,
it's happened. It's
yeah,
happening.
yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
man,
Now
I had to bring that
again,
up.
I see all these damn psychics and time travelers.
Right.
That's a whole nother story. Putting all this stuff up, it's like, oh, a 9.0 earthquake's gonna happen. It's gonna wipe out all of California. It's gonna break the Midwest in two. It's gonna look, people. End of the world is not coming. Again, I do see some much bigger earthquakes coming.
Hmm.
It's a cycle. It's just how it is. But they
Yep.
are coming. They are
Right.
coming. So it's not if, it's when. So and again, it could be tomorrow, it could be next year, it could be in 10 years. Who knows?
Right.
We've also seen the volcanoes. Oh,
Yep.
and then the other thing was I said like about the tornadoes that we were going to see some like crazy, crazy weather, tornadoes that were just back to back, flooding all over the place, and it's like it's crazy because again, when I put these out, I just put it out because it's just the information I got. Like if it happened, great. If they don't, then well,
Right.
whatever. It might happen later. But you should see. I should screenshot the amount of private messages I get because I don't watch the news, but they do.
Right. Right.
And they'll be like, "Oh my God, did you say there was a 5.8 in Oregon? You just said Oregon. Just off the coastline. Here we all get."
Yep.
Okay, I mean, we we should know this by now. But again,
Right.
so we are absolutely going to see an uptick. We are going to see worse hurricanes. We're going to see bigger and worse tornadoes. And what they're showing me is like it's sometimes just getting like hit like back to back to back, like not just like one big one, but just back to back. So, if you live in a tornado area, be alert. But I also said we're going to start seeing this weather, tornadoes, earthquakes in places that we don't normally see them.
Hmm. You
I
did.
did specifically say New York.
You
New
did.
York got hit not once but twice. I don't think that's the bigger one that I'm talking about. I think that's like a precursor.
Right.
And it's funny because it was like a 4.8 or something like that. And, everybody was panicking. Here in California, if it doesn't hit like a 5.0 or something, like, we usually sleep through them.
It's true.
It's not even something. Let's see. Glenn, we are live right now. You just maybe refresh your browser. I'm not sure. Patrick says, will Native American spirits be more likely to interact with Native Americans than other ethnicities at locations like burial grounds? I would think so. Oh, 100, I would think 100%. I know that I had a case up in Paradise, California before it burned down. And we got to this place and it was kind of like in the woods, beautiful house. And I walk onto the property and the first thing I see is Native American Indians and people who look like settlers and a horse-drawn carriage, but there was no horse, and all these people were just dead all over the outside of the property. Now, again, when we used to do private cases, I never wanted any information on the location. I just wanted to go in blindly. So when I walked in there, that was one of the first signs. I'm like, okay, what's going on there? We did a little bit of research. Come to find out, they had a whole massacre there
Wow.
on those grounds. And, they did a bunch of building on their property and stuff like that, riled everything up. And yeah, they were having all kinds of things going on. And I actually brought a shaman in, and a Native American shaman to come, and he did the drumming, he did the offering of the tobacco, he did his chants for whatever, and to ask, to live peaceful among, these people. And yeah, it was very interesting. And I got video, and it was crazy. It was like the homeowner was like in a trance. He was sitting in front of the fire, this fire pit that they were out drumming at, and he was drumming, but it was like his face. It was like the weirdest thing I've seen. Like like you visually, when you looked over there, three of my investigators were like, "Oh my God, did you see his face?" And I
Really?
made them explain because I'm like, I know what I saw, but I'm not going to say it first. So what did you
Right.
see?
Right.
And so I would say, yeah, you would definitely, if you, if you were dealing with like burial mounds or Native American burial sites, um, I would definitely say yes, that you should bring somebody Native American. Hey, Casey,
Mr. Mike Casey.
Mr. C,
Good to see that
Mr.
guy.
Casey. Yeah, we're gonna have Mike on the show too here really soon because I love talking to him too. Again, I met him at the Vulture City Paracon, which again was still one of my favorites. I met a lot of really cool people there. But yeah, we're gonna have Mike on really soon. We got actually a lot of great guests coming up. Next week we have Lori McDonald. Lori McDonald is a regression hypnotherapist, and she specifically works with abductees and contactees and does regression therapy sessions with them so that they can remember things that have been blocked out. She's actually a very big deal. She started out just as a little person of my team. She is now doing Gaia TV. She travels all over the world talking
That's
on
awesome.
these subjects. So we're going to talk about that because she has a very different technique. So anybody that grew up maybe watching, Close Encounters of the Third Kind or the Fourth Kind, when the guy goes through the regression and he like relives every horrible thing they did to him, right?
Right.
When I needed to get my regression, that's what I was worried about because that's what I had seen on TV. And, she had to explain to me that she doesn't do it that way. She does her technique is kind of like a third party. So when she puts you under, you're seeing everything as if it's just a movie. So you have no emotional connection to it. You're just a viewer of what's going on. So we're going to talk to her about that. She actually did my regression. It was crazy. We will talk about that. And we're also going to talk about the Mandela effect. So you know what the Mandela effect is, right?
I wish you. God dang it! You weren't supposed to ask me that. No, I do not.
Well,
You know
I
what?
thought
As soon as you,
I would look on your face.
as soon as you said that, I'm like, I'll talk to her after the show. What is that?
Well, you know how like they'll say like back in the day it was the Bernstein Bears, and now like the covers are different. There's all kinds of things. So like they said that Shazam was never a movie, but we absolutely know it was. I watched it many a times, and um, so they say it's like a timeline kind of glitch, or change. And she's going to bring some great examples of what we remember, how we remember things and the way that they look. Because again, we remember from our childhood, right? How
Right.
things look. And then they're going to bring up now what they look like
Got it.
and why.
Yep.
And the thing is that they've scrubbed. Once the new version comes out, all the old version gets scrubbed. The only reason people knew about Shazam that was legit was because people still had, crazy enough, still had copies of the VHS tape from way back
Right.
in the day.
Right.
So I I just find it's just so fascinating to me when I like deal with stuff like that and I like hear stuff like that because again, it's like it makes you almost wonder if you're crazy because you're like, oh, I absolutely remember it being that way. And then you
Right.
look at the new one and you're like, oh,
Right.
yeah, that's completely different. Where did that happen? And then if you try to go up and do any research on it, nowhere to be found. It just shows the current one. Patrick says we jump from parallel timelines to parallel timelines all the time. Yeah, so things are just a tad different, just a tad. So very interesting topic. I think it's going to be definitely interesting. Got to get off the paranormal for a minute, like at least for a week. After
That'd
that,
be
we're going to have the Hollywood psychic April Bissett is going to be on here. She's going to be doing some live readings. I had her on probably last year. It was an amazing show. She did a lot of like predictions right on thing. She has a new, well, not new, but newer uh, magazine called Ghost, the Ghost magazine. So uh, yeah, she's doing some amazing, coverage of different locations and things like that. And now she's doing some get-togethers. She, I will say, April, if you see this, I absolutely love you. She is all about positivity and no drama or anything. So I try to stay away from all of that. With her, she, everybody has their own path how they see things. But as far as like the readings that she gives, oh yeah,
spot on.
she's spot on. I'm very excited to have her back on the show. Kelly, hey, if you are just tuning in, you want to check out next week's show. We're going to be talking about regression hypnotherapy with contactees and abductees, as well as the Mandela effect. He's one of my longtime friends on social media that watches the show, and he loves all the alien stuff. So I think we met watching a guy's YouTube channel back in the day.
Right.
Dean says, absolutely, drama is the pits, and some love it. I guess it's a double-edged sword because you know what? Yeah, the drama it gets old and it has not gotten any better over the years. It's only gotten worse. But on the other hand, like I was telling George, it's to me it's actually entertaining. It's gives me something to talk about, and the fact that so many people just buy into anything, and I just don't really see a lot of like new like investigators. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of thrill seekers and enthusiasts. So that's the other thing. Paranormal enthusiasts. So we can't just bundle all of these people up into our field and use these people as someone that like our heroes that we're looking up to, because it is just completely screwing this field up. It is pitting people against each other, and sometimes for good reason. Like I'm seeing a lot of people now, they're getting a little, famous or not even famous, but they're getting a little attention on their followers on TikTok or whatever, or social media. And then all of a sudden, to make that money and to keep that attention, you got to keep it exciting. And if it's not exciting, that all goes down the thing. So we just think that because people are out there all the time putting content out, that, like they're these people to be worshipped. And yeah, I don't think so.
It's you say that, and you're right. And I know the field has thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people that love this field so much. And I know we do too. But outside the real world, you walk down the street, you go to a grocery store, those people that want this attention, they're not going to get it because nobody's going to know who the hell they are other than the paranormal field. Does that make sense?
Right.
And they walk around, and I've seen it. They walk around like they're just like everybody called them paraslabs. That word has got to go. You're just people that are paranormal investigators. And back in the day, what I got into it is to give people hope and give me hope to there is something on the other side of the veil.
Right.
That's just my, I'm always hopeful, but I'm also, but at the same time, I've lost hope also because I've just seen this field just take a shit.
It's just imploding on itself,
Yeah,
and again, nobody wants to share evidence. Nobody wants, everybody's so critical. It's just, and then we see more people. It's like, okay, you might have a group, right? And
right.
then now all of a sudden you want to do videos. I just saw a big drama filled, thing on Facebook before we came on the air, and it was like, oh yeah, I'm the one that's behind the scenes doing all this guy's TikToks and for his paranormal stuff and everything, and he doesn't give me any credit. Well, the guy that, not the one filming, but the other guy was making all the money on TikTok
Yeah,
and not
yeah.
giving him any.
Wow.
So of course, they were like they got mad at each other, and so of course now they're both, going online on every social media platform they can to talk shit about each other. And it's
Right.
like, here you guys were just partners and best friends, a year ago. So I feel like the paranormal it's like the same thing as politics.
Yeah.
It like that will cause people to turn on each other
In a
like
heartbeat.
in a heartbeat. Then you have to look
It's
twice.
It's true. People turn on each other all the time, and we're all again. They just do, and it gets exhausting. If you ask me, it's exhausting to watch these people just go at each other. Like you said, two people could be best friends or having a great time, and all of a sudden one gets a little bit more cocky or make whatever it may be, and boy, your friendship ain't worth a nickel.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
sad
sad.
but true.
It's too bad.
Um, Patrick says, since last year, I've had 4 past life regressions. My mind has been blown. I just started getting interested in exploring reincarnation since last year. Oh, you're gonna love the show then, if that's the
That's
case.
cool.
Um, hey Michelle, so nice to see you, beautiful. Laura says, I will definitely be there next week watching. Great. I'm love to see new faces. That is amazing. And then she says, "Oh, they all live for the day that people say, 'Oh, you're so great.'" Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I've even been on shows where they'll say, "Oh, the paranormal expert or the paraceleb." No, don't put me in any of those categories. I am no celebrity, and the fact that I don't make any big time money,
You know what
I
that
wouldn't even like to be one.
that title just puts a target on anybody's back. It just puts a target on your back, and
Well, I
it's
think that
it's
it puts like the bar like so high, and most of those people can't really
yeah,
live up to that bar anyway.
yeah,
And again, most of these people that are out there are all like new people.
Yep.
Like it's like I don't know, like the paranormal enthusiasts like are going crazy because they're just like, okay, they're gonna hit any niche that they can on social media that is
Right.
hot right now. That's
Right.
why the drama. Like back in the day, nobody wanted to do exposing shows and drama shows. I
Right.
did them all the time. I didn't care. Oh,
Right.
now that's the big thing is the drama. So that's where people are getting the listeners. That's where they're doing all that. It's again, I could say, like everybody else says, oh, I'm going to leave the field. I'm over it. I'm over it. But you know what? I don't do what I do for the field. Like, this is my life. It's not something
Yeah.
I can just turn off.
Yeah.
The paranormal will always be in my life. Oh, in fact, everything paranormal will be in my life. I will continue to investigate, and because I want to seek the answers and the knowledge for myself.
Right.
And if people along the way learn from that or help them learn from that, great. If not, it's okay. I'm not quitting because I'm just one of those people that, the more you try to push me, the more I'm going to stay. The
Right.
more uncomfortable you make it, I'm going to soak it up and I'll find something to talk about. So, they give me plenty of ideas on stuff we can do shows on.
No, I agree with you when it comes to the field. I mean, the field is actually a really great field. It's just right now, it's I shouldn't say now, it's been like this, I think, for a couple of years. I think it's gone slowly down. It slowly has gone downhill. But the field is a lot of fun when you find the right people to do it with, and I think that's what it is. You're back in my life, and I look forward to doing investigations with you because you bring so much to the table, and and like I said, 10 years doing this, I'm still green. I mean, I want to learn all as much as I possibly can as I'm still continuing to do this. But
Yeah.
it's just the
I mean,
people that make me mad. It's the sorry, it's there's some rotten people out there that are bullies, and there's some people out there are just very ugly people, and they don't belong. They don't belong here, and
yeah,
that's
but you know
my
what?
opinion.
I've been saying that forever. I mean, I have done shows about pedophiles that are in the field.
Yeah,
Sex offenders that are in the field and wanting to meet up with single women investigators. Like I
yeah,
I've done shows on just about everything.
yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
field is not. There is no organization to it. There
Right.
is no rules to it.
Nope.
So it is like the wild, wild west of the paranormal. You can come and you can have any technique, you can have any idea, you can have any thought process. Right now, all of a sudden, it's a big thing that I'm seeing that um, people are wanting to do more rituals and stuff when they're going to locations. It's coming very dark.
Yeah.
So we'll just. Oh, hey, Annie, nice to see you. Um, it is definitely declining, but since there is no governing body
All right.
for the paranormal field,
Yep.
it's like living in no man's land where you just come and it's do whatever you want. That's why all the problems are
Now,
because you can't.
do you think I interrupted you again?
No,
Damn
go
it!
ahead.
I'm so sorry. And I don't know if this is going to come out correctly because I'm not a big fan of the TV thing anymore. The paranormal shows on TV. I used to love them. I did. I used to watch Destiny's Spirit, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, Ghost Brothers, all of them.
Mhm.
Do you think all those shows that now basically have disappeared has really just put a hiccup in the field? Do you think that could have been something bad where all these shows have been taken away, really? And do you think it maybe
I just
that caused some of it?
I just think people are losing interest again. It's overly saturated,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
people are now catching on that, okay, stuff that's on television, a lot of it is scripted because it is for entertainment. So,
absolutely.
at the beginning, people didn't understand that. They didn't really
Right.
understand like the TV business or how things are. So now you can see it's a little different. So
Mhm.
now people are going to more towards social media and people creating their own accounts that are investigators and teams and going out there investigating. So I think that it's been so overly saturated. They can watch it for free online on YouTube or on TikTok or whatever, lives or on Instagram live.
Right.
So why would they watch them?
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
craving, more and more all the time, which is why now even it's trickled down to the investigators of having to fake stuff because it's the only way you can keep everybody's attention. And you see, people like that are gone. They may follow you and you may have a great following. If they cancel your show,
Yeah.
they're going to go find the next person to go and check out.
You're right. As usual. Shit.
Yeah, Andy says some of this shit makes the paranormal feel like a joke, pisses me off. Oh yeah, you missed the whole
Absolutely,
front
Andy.
beginning of the show. After we get done, you can go watch the beginning. So yeah, we're right there with you. Carol Ann says that's why I stick to myself. It's gone all kinds of sideways. Absolutely, and I've investigated with Carol Ann for a long, long time, and
Right.
but again, I love her because she keeps with a very small circle. Same thing. And Patrick, when you're a medium, you don't investigate the paranormal investigates you. Pretty much, yeah. And
Wow.
you're trying to figure. My whole thing of investigating is to really get answers to a lot of things I don't know. People think, oh, you've been in the field for so long, or you've had the abilities for so long. That doesn't mean shit. I don't.
Right.
The more that I learn, the more questions I have. So it's like a big puzzle. That's why I'll never quit because I need the answers. So that's what I have to do.
No, I love it. I love it, man. I really do.
All right. Well, we are out of time, and I know George is tired. He rushed home in traffic to barely make it onto the show. So I'm gonna, and I've been working all day too. So I think it was a good show. Got to talk about a lot of things. Um, Keep an eye. You can go back. I think it was like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago when we did the prediction show.
It was
Go
3 weeks ago.
back. You can take a look at it, listen to it, and mark down, and we'll just keep giving updates as we go. But
Go. No, actually, you nailed it. Go back to actually spend an hour, watch that show, and write down everything. And write down everything Christina said. Write down everything that she said about where there's going to be earthquakes and all this devastation and all stuff. And now go back to, and then 3 weeks later, you're going to find out that, oh my God, she called this out 3 weeks ago. That's what blows my mind. Some of the stuff you did was like, holy shit. So good
well,
stuff.
remember I told you sometimes like it happens far out. Sometimes like I've done shows and like literally within a day or two, people are messaging
Crazy.
me. So again, I'm just the messenger as always. So
Yep.
I just want people to just know that these things may happen, and maybe this is a little precursor. All these little jolts because they even had one in Berkeley. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
I did not know. I didn't know that either.
Yes, they had one in Berkeley. They had two up in the other place. The other ones that was up by Reading, I felt
Wow.
that was
Oh,
like the 4.4 or whatever, like back to back. I felt that one at my place, so I
we
definitely,
had two. We had two in Discovery Bay.
yeah.
And we're
See,
we're yeah, no, you nailed. There's been a lot of earthquakes. They've been small, but they've been here. They're definitely
but
knocking it out.
not so much, but because I didn't say all of them are going to be big ones. What I said is you're going to start seeing earthquakes
More.
in places that we don't normally see earthquakes.
Absolutely true. 100%. New York, not just
Right,
Oregon. I mean, come
right.
on.
Right.
Jesus.
So yeah, so we'll just keep an eye. But again, I do think something big is coming. I think it's going to be more towards Southern California opposed to Northern
That's what you're
California.
saying. Yeah.
But again, I am still getting all the way up this coastline
Yep.
earthquake. So I don't know if that means there'll be multiple ones or whatever. But again, guys, I'm not seeing the end of the world. I'm not seeing uh San Francisco or Northern California dropping into the ocean. Don't see any of that. Like, yes, if we got a really big earthquake and we had some tsunami waters,
Yeah.
yes, we are going to have some problems along the coastline. But as far as like all of California just being split
Dropped
and
off.
dropped, no.
Not gonna happen.
Well, not that they show me yet. If that changes, I'll let everybody know. But still, to this point, that's why I was like, I cannot. I don't think I can watch one more solar eclipse goodbye video. And you don't believe me, you'll believe me now. And I'm just like, I want to just go back on every single page that I saw that on
Yeah.
and just tell them how dumb they are.
Nothing. What's
What
stopping
kind of
you?
psychic are you? Oh, and they're always, oh, I had a dream. And stop sharing them because now this is like the third thing you shared that did not happen.
Right. Good girl. Good girl.
All right, guys.
All right,
We will
guys.
see you next week. Make sure to join the stream as normal, same time, same back channel, and we will
Everybody
see you
take
next
care.
week. Again,
Take care,
if there is
everybody. Be
somebody
good.
that you would like to bring us to bring on the show, or if you'd like to be a guest and come and share your stories, go ahead and message one of us on our Facebooks, our social media, and we will definitely bring you on. That being said, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.